Hey friends, it's Catherine here. So I've had a number of conversations with clients today and actually last week as well about things that are happening in their lives that are triggering them. So, clearly we're at a time of year where we may be around more people than we typically are. If we're out on the roads, there may be more people driving, out shopping. There may be holiday-related parties or gatherings that are putting you in touch with more people, and maybe people who you don't really love being around, who you're trying to keep some boundaries with, whose behaviors or actions might actually be triggering you, right? So it could be anything from feeling anxious or overwhelmed to really angry or irritated or annoyed. So I'm gonna drop some things here in this video to put a little of this in perspective and also to suggest an important question that you can ask yourself in some of these particular situations that might shift the energy pretty significantly or might at least give you something to ponder, right? So let's jump in. So first of all, let's again sort of talk about the energy of this particular time that we're in. So, we're in mid-December and, moving toward, well, we're already into Hanukkah, but moving toward Christmas and New Year's Eve and the end of the year. So we've got all of that going on, and there can be beautiful, wonderful energy of gathering and love and light and all of that connected to the holidays, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa or just, secular get-togethers with friends for sharing time together. Or there could be some energy around that doesn't feel so great, right? As I mentioned, having to share time perhaps with people who you're not all that comfortable around or whose behavior doesn't really make you feel great, and you're trying to navigate all of that. So we're also in this portal between the 12-12 portal, which is a powerful opening of energetic portals, lots of cosmic solar energies coming in between 12-12 and 12-21. And of course, we know here in the Northern Hemisphere that 12-21 is the solstice, right? It's the day that we have the least amount of light. It's the shortest day here in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's almost as though time stands still in that solstice period for about 3 days, where it's almost like everything comes to a standstill before the sun starts moving again. So we have the shortest day and then kind of this little bit of just almost being in limbo. And then we actually start moving into a period where the days start getting longer. Isn't that wonderful? And while that's all happening, and that's, the 12-12 and 12-21, both of those dates can have pretty significant spiritual and kind of esoteric meaning, which I'm not going to spend too much time on here before, but just know that we're in sort of, this window of time when the energies are pretty elevated, and it's a time for releasing anything that's not serving you. So, and the other thing I want to say about that is we're also in the 3-week period of Mercury being in retrograde, which happens 4 times a year, and it just so happens to be happening right now from December 13th right until January 1st, overnight into the 2nd. There's a 3-week window when Mercury is in retrograde where it appears to slow down and almost like the planet is moving backwards in regards to how the other planets are moving. And we know the word retro right, kind of refers to things from the past. So what happens in Mercury in retrograde, as the planet appears to be slowing down or even going backwards, sorry, I just got a call coming through on my phone, that we typically in Mercury in retrograde, people sort of see it as a challenging time, because as things slow down, we might end up having some little snafus in the kinds of things that Mercury kind of, I don't want to say controls, but has within its purview. So travel, communication, anything that involves technology, people showing up from your past, right? So as we slow down, and if we, are traveling, or if we're trying to sign documents or do something legal, you may find that you have some challenges in those areas. So people, sometimes go, oh, Mercury in retrograde. But really the truth of Mercury in retrograde is that is an opportunity to really slow down, right? Retro, to go inward and use this slower time as a time of reviewing, right? Reassessing, recalibrating, revealing, recommitting or not committing, right? So it's really a time to do all the things, and don't be so busy out in the world, but to spend more time going inward to see if there's anything that wants to be revealed so that it can be released. You see a pattern here with the R words? I hope so. So this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about, because in this busy time of year where people might be feeling a lot of pressure to be doing extra things or spending extra money or being around people who can be challenging, whether it's work or community or even family relationships, right? It's not all goodness and light around the holidays. And what I'm finding with clients is they're having a lot, I'm going to say triggered, but sometimes I feel like that word gets a little bit overused, but they're having things come up in their life that are not all that comfortable for them. So again, it might be anxiety around having to be at a holiday party, or it might be anger being out that gets easily flared up when you're out and about just trying to get places and it's busier and you're in traffic and people are not being all that thoughtful. Or it could be really annoyance or irritation with a family member whose behavior is challenging for you. And what I would like to offer, again, because we're in this window between 12/12 and the solstice, we're in this period of Mercury in retrograde, and we're also at a time in the evolution of humanity where more and more in our ascension process, things that are not serving us any longer, and again, kind of a phrase that maybe is a little bit overused, but that's because it's true. The patterns, the thoughts, the beliefs, sort of a habitual or automatic ways of being that have become part of our personality, it may be time to be looking at those and really asking the question, is this who I want to be? Where did that thought come from? And is it really mine, right? Or where did that belief system or the judgment that I'm making right now, where does that come from? And do I even really believe the thing that I'm saying to myself that I'm in judgment around somebody. So it's really a great time to begin to ask those questions. And, a lot of times when we look outside of ourselves, it may feel like people are doing things to us, right? That person cut us off. That person stole the parking spot that I wanted, or that relative said really mean or shaming things, or, oh my God, this person from high school just showed up and brought up a whole bunch of old stuff. Or in one case with a client this week, it was something from a work situation where all of a sudden, just because she was asked to put a request for something in writing, her anxiety went through the roof, and she called me sort of in a panic and left me a message saying, could we meet? I haven't been sleeping for days, right? Which seems like perhaps an overreaction, except knowing her history, it's not an overreaction at all. And which brings me to the question, if we believe that things in our lives are coming up, it's not the universe being against us or punishing us, like, oh, that thing again, why is that coming up again? Or just being irritated because I thought I dealt with that already. If it's coming up again, if someone is triggering that in you, it's most likely because there is still some energy in your field that's unhealed around that some particular thing that this person is then triggering in you. So if that makes sense, one of the ways to address that could be to ask the question, why is this happening for me? Or how is this happening for me? Rather than why is it happening to me? Because that's typically where we go, oh my God, why is this happening again? Why is this coming up again? What the hell, right? Like, and it just feels like, oh my, is this ever going to stop, right? It's almost, we're in that sort of victim, right? Something is happening to me and I feel powerless, or I feel like this is outside of my control. But if we can for a minute drop into that place that says, well, if I believe that the universe has my back and this thing is coming up and it's triggering me in this way, a pretty strong way, what might I learn from this? What might it be pointing me to? When have I felt like this before? Is there a core wound here that is wanting to be healed, is ready to be healed? And so the universe is actually creating this situation, this particular set of circumstances. It's not a coincidence. It may in fact be sort of a divinely orchestrated way that the universe is using to give you the opportunity to drop in and ask, when else have I felt like this before? And sit with that for a few moments and see where in your body you might be feeling that, and sort of lean into that and get curious about, when have I felt like this before? Is there a person? Is there a circumstance? Is there something in my history that had a similar energy to this? And if so, is it possible that this is coming up now because it's time for me to heal this thing, right? So, we could talk a lot more about healing, but I don't really necessarily want to go into all of that right now and make this video super long, but I would like to just leave you with that question. How is this supporting me? How is the universe supporting me right now in this situation? How can I turn this around from feeling more like a victim from the why is this happening to me, to a more empowered place of, if I believe the universe truly does have my back, why is this coming up for me now? And what is ready to be revealed so that it can be healed? All right, I think I'm going to leave you right there. And remember, this is a beautiful time of year to really be sitting with and asking those kinds of questions. This energy is really supporting you right now to be doing that as we move into the end of the year and into 2024. Just as a reminder, I am doing my annual Burning Bowl ceremony on New Year's Eve, December 31st at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I will leave a link below where you can join us for that virtual event. Even if you can't make it live, it'll be recorded and sent out to anybody who's registered. So many beautiful blessings as we move through the end of this year. Trust that the universe is working for you and things are happening for you, not to you. Many, many, many blessings to you. Bye now.